Hello everyone, it's been a while, but I had to take my time and do a little bit of research, so I'm back. My name is Mutegi, and this is my platform, Parenting Conundrums. Yes, even the word itself is quite a mystery, isn't it? So I have been thinking about different topics, and I realized that I lean towards topics that are considered taboo, like those difficult conversations to start or to have with your children. And therefore I needed to take time, and not just what I've heard, but also to consult, to research, to read, to watch different speakers, critics even, on those topics. And one of them, being part 2 for today, is sex and sexuality when it comes to children. If you've been looking around, there have been topics arising from sex and sexuality. There's been aspects of pornography. There's been aspects of how this digital space that we are in now, that we're in quarantine, the pandemic is here with us and stuff like that, and online learning is the thing, how those platforms are now becoming hotspots or areas of concern. So what do we do? So it's not a matter of throwing in the towel and saying, this is for it. When it happens to other people, it doesn't happen to me. You know, there's that kind of scenario whereby until it hits you is when you're like, yeah, I thought, the very fact that your child is a human being like you, they have had something, they have seen something. They may not have understood everything, but they are not blank. And that's how I want you to look at this conversation. Don't look at it like, why is everybody focusing on it? But the thing about it is, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. Children have done homework over and over again. It's been almost 3 months. Even for you, when you're doing your assignments, there's a point where you just want to let loose. And the children will find different ways to let loose. Whether they want to, whether it's them looking for the information or someone sends it to them in a hidden way. Because it's not all the time it will be like, haha, here I am, the wrong thing that your parents told you not to look into. No, it will be a picture. They are looking to biology lesson, if biology is still being taught. I don't know how it's being phrased right now. And they are looking into a certain concept. And then, you know how these links, these advertisements just show up? It's like the gadgets are reading our minds. That, unfortunately, is the reality that our children are in. That the very platform that is supposed to widen the scope of information, of knowledge, is also the one that is going to reel them into a world that they may have been exposed to earlier, or for the very first time they're coming to it. So I have gotten some inspiration from the different talks that I have listened to, and I am glad that at least this is a space that I can use to communicate that to you. So please don't think that it should be other children who should be talked to. That child, that 2-year-old in your life, whether as a parent or as a guardian, they have body parts and they are curious. Where does that curiosity take them? So it's being guided. It's you as a parent, you as a guardian are you are a guardrail. Like, they are on a certain path, they're on a journey, and there are pitfalls, there are valleys on this other side. So how do you put the guardrails? And that is where information comes in from a trusted person. Because whatever comes in from the internet, you have looked, you yourself know that if right now you wanted to go on a diet, you would get everything concerning diets. It can be anything. So what about the children? They will get anything and everything, because, as I said, it's a Google universe. Just Google it and you'll find it. So let's guide the children that even though it pops up, you have put a guardrail. They what do you call them? Curtains. You have put curtains over their eyes, or they know when to turn away, or even to tell you, by the way, mom, this and this happened. I may have looked at it, and please, I'm sorry, or can you help me with this? So do you think your child can come to you with such an issue? So let's explore how we can form that connection, how to be guardrails when it comes to matters, sex and sexuality. Yes, good. So the point is, I want to just acknowledge that the two personalities that I have really been listening to and I love their content, and one is Simon Bevy. I believe there's a Man Enough, Transform Nations. I believe those are his platforms, and the other is a class I've even enrolled in. He's Stanley Mukolwe. I believe those are the two individuals that are so that will guide this conversation as well as my own personal research. Okay, so just in case this for the few minutes we'll interact, if you can find their resources, because the more information you get, the better. Good, let's commence this matter of sex and sexuality. Hata kuisema, even saying the words themselves. Hi, kuna shida, there's problem, but let us see. So these are just their pointers, their tips, and just realizations or some guides of why this conversation needs to be done and how we can do it. Okay, good. So please acknowledge the fact that you don't have solutions for everything. Children want to ask you questions about everything. And that's why you need to be cautious and find out how comes they have never asked me about this topic, this taboo topic, because they have asked you about why birds fly, why is the sky blue, I don't know, all those questions where they keep on asking why, you know that question, where to the point you're like, what's end of day? So if they have not asked you about sexuality, and I know I've said this over and over again, and I'm not going to stop it, because kama hajakuuliza ameuliza nani. Good. So you acknowledge that you don't have the answers to all their questions. You can tell them that if ever they do ask you. And then also, this is where now this platform comes into place, where you can ask, you can find out more information and read as much as possible, because the very fact that your child is out of your womb, the discussions begin about the birds and the bees. So if you are not able to ask to answer those questions, find someone who can. It can be a video which you have watched in advance. It can be a book which you have read in advance. It can be a person who you trust. Okay, good. Then, children need to know that the involvement in sex at the wrong time has long-term consequences. So you may have a teenager right now and you have never had the talk. Start. That is one thing I am learning over and over again. Just start. You know, even the way we are being told, the way you have your own ideas, your dreams and aspirations, and you're like, oh, I'm too old for me to start. But you're always being encouraged, just start. The very fact that you're not talked to your child, just start. And we are going to see like which are the different ways. Okay, good. So, addiction. Most of the times we look at addiction thinking about drug and substance abuse and all the other addictions. But there is addiction, sex addiction, and others. So addiction is where you are repeating a habit. You are using a substance, whatever it is, over and over again. Even you, if you look into your life, you know how you are told when you are younger, if you don't point your finger at someone, because if you're pointing one finger at someone else, how many are pointing back at you? So when you're pointing to a drug addict, how many addictions possibly do you have that nobody else knows? So how are we looking into addiction? So you need to explore also about addictions such that it doesn't just show up. So you let the children know that it is, when it comes to sex, it may be portrayed in this, ooh la la, gotta have it now, that kind of scenario. But the pleasure will be overshadowed by the harmful consequences, the pain in future, short term, long term, millennial term. The pleasure that you get from whatever it is that you're doing if you're not doing it in the right way, because your body needs to be respected, somebody else also needs to respect you. By the time I'm talking about this, you need to realize that you can have this conversation of different ages. So by the time a child tells you that so and so has touched me and the rest, there's usually this guilt of, like in sexual abuse and everything, they felt pleasure, but they knew it was uncomfortable. So they need to know what are the limitations, that yes, it may be pleasurable, but terms and conditions apply. So they need to know when is it the right time. And I know society has given different forms of, you can, my dress, my choice. I'm just using this phrase, so please don't throw stones on me. But we have been given the guide that you decide what to do with your own body. I don't disagree with that. But unfortunately, for every action, there's a reaction. So you can explore what are those reactions for every action. Okay, good. Then we have I took notes. Lazima nichukue notes. So ukiona kichwa imeshuka, just look at the color of my what is it called? The turban, headrobe. Anyway, moving on swiftly. So we say, let children know that something like sex was made for pleasure. You need to tread carefully, because you remember how, not even remember, right now, if you put chips and broccoli in front of a child, atakula gani? Water, it's recommended for you to take 8 glasses of water. Lakini ukiona bottle of soda in front of you, which one do you gulp faster? The soda. So usually, yes, our body parts were made for pleasure, but terms and conditions apply. And these are the consequences of you jumping into the waters before learning how to swim and wearing the appropriate floaters. Use as much imagery as possible for them to get the point. If you don't have those pointers, that's where I'm saying get support, okay? Good. As a parent, as a guardian, as myself, you need to pray, meditate, train, sign up for patience and self-control when a child comes to you concerning matters, sex and sexuality. You say, even whispering. Because if you vilify, if you make this child feel like whatever they have done is the worst of the worst, just realize a connection. Your connection here, I will trust you, I will come to dad, I will come to mom, I will come to auntie to talk about this, is gone. Wewe mwenyewe, you're not perfect. Who knew? Even though you were born before Google, before Corona, before computers, you are not innocent. This thing cropped in your mind. So by the time you're seeing the child, they have wamejikakamua na wamekuongelesha. Oh, the fruit of the spirit. Iyo ya mwisho, self-control. Pray for it constantly. Because if you vilify the child for exploring something that looked fantastic, that was portrayed as pleasurable, that is pleasurable for a while, why would they come to you for any serious issue anymore? They won't. They'll be like, if that is a response, then even a small thing, let me sort it out myself or talk to somebody else. So patience is a virtue that jaribu, reel it in. If you need to take a moment and just go to the corner of your bedroom or scream into a pillow, scream. Just tell the child, nipate dakika moja kidogo tu, tuketi hapo, kunywa chai, kunywa juice, kunywa uji. Then go and scream silently. And then let's talk. It's a shock, but I'm here for you. Let's talk. Patience, sindio? Sawa. Haya. When do you think, right now, I believe there are some of us who are waiting for a child to be a teenager or to hit double digit, 10 years old. Do wanze kuongea mambo ya sex, the birds and the bees, boys and girls. Please minus those. Unajua hiyo unangoja hiyo 10 years minus 2, that is 8. If it's 8 years minus 2, that is 6. I'm not telling you where a baby is born, and I'm not telling you to go graphic, but reduce the number of the day, that appointment you have set in your head that you're going to talk to your child concerning boys and girls. Anza kuongea sahi. Because the Alejandros and the Palomas and the I don't know who muchachos that are on screen, wameshawaambia. And I believe they even in almost every animation, there's always a kiss scene. Sleeping Beauty, whatever it is. And there's a point, lakini, that is when they're younger. And then when they grow older, you're looking at, if you look at your kid, he's looking at that scene like, anaona nini? What is he processing? That becomes a teachable moment. And that is where you suddenly start having the boys saying that, Mami, my susu, you know, those two questions, the mothers of boys know. That is a point where the boy just does this, you're like, sasa, ni ibilisi gani imeingia kwa nyumba yangu? Sio ibilisi, ni aliona, na mwili imesema, on your marks, get set, a girl. And you are not ready. You're not prepared. So, tell them how to respect their body. Kushikashika, for the boys especially, not in front of people. But even if it's not be in front of people, you should know terms and conditions apply. You need to explore that. And now, this is where I wanted to say, if you're not able to talk one-on-one, andika, right, go back to the art, the forgotten art of writing it down. Andika, fungua roho. Just write a story. Write, my dear child, I come before thee to tell you about the birds and the bees. So this is papa, and these are the values for this house, papa. Ongea na mtoto. Fungua, get a diary, get a journal, get a book. Yeah, anaandika swali zake, we unamjibu. You have to find a way to talk to your child, because if you don't talk to your child, my dear, there are so many people out there who will talk to your child. Na hautaipenda. Tumeelewana? And please, by the time I'm saying all this with my facial expressions and everything else and my gestures that are filling the screen, I'm not here to scare you. I'm just telling you, like, by the way, you are thinking on your marks. Them, they went. This TV meonesha, they are, Usain Bolt, where you're told if you blink, you will be, that's it. He's finished the race. Mtoto, most likely, if you even have a teenager, ask them. Wakwambie mambo ya contraceptives. Utafunzwa. Sio kwa ubaya, lakini the chances of wewe becoming the student, you thought you would be the one teaching. Utaketi. Useme yes teacher. Reporting for duty. Which is a double-edged sword, but you will see how to do it, okay? So, write it down. Walk as you talk. If you cannot sit Evie one-on-one, especially for boys, I learned from the speakers that I mentioned before that boys are mambo ya one-on-one kuongea TV macho Evie. It's a little bit uncomfortable. So you can talk as you're in the car, you can talk as you walk, you can talk as you ride, whatever. But that's why I think guys, like, something should be happening, some meat, some drinks, all these things. Not for us, like ladies, we can talk EV with my EV and we are good. But for the men, for the boys, if you're not comfortable doing one-on-one, then talk. Stem napika. Okay. Yeah, but find an opportunity. You know the way you used to say, why is my mother, you share a joke with your parent and then you turn it into a life lesson, but it's stuck, doesn't it? Yeah, so use that. Okay, good. Where do we go so that we can wind up? Yes, we have said if you thought you'd speak to them in the next 2 years, please speak to them earlier. -2. Even speak to them when they're in the womb, like by the time you're coming out. Tutaongea, lakini just know, okay? Then, please, stop sending mixed signals. Don't have sex. Don't talk to boys. Don't get pregnant. Just because you say don't, doesn't mean they won't. And the other thing I've learned with children is, usually when you say don't run, they hear the last part of the sentence or the word or the phrase. So you say don't run, they hear run. Don't have sex. have sex. Don't get pregnant. Get pregnant. Anyway, that's on a light note. Please. Please. Virtual hug. So what exactly are your values?